Hi everybody, it's Barbie from Nellie and Ruth Designs, and I'm back with part two of I call it a pocket folder book. I showed you this. This holds a lot of ephemera that I keep in my room, and I wanted to share this project so you could make one of these really cute little books at home for yourself. But first, I'd like to thank everyone for joining in and commenting, subscribing. You've all been very, very kind since I've started my channel, and I really appreciate it. So, with that being said, let's move on. I wanted to once again tell you the paper that I'm using to make this little pocket book for your ephemera. It is the Authentique Utopia, and I absolutely love this. I love the color. I love everything about it. So making this book, you do need double-sided paper, and there's so many variations that you could do in creating this book. You can make a small journal out of it. You can put recipe cards in it. It'd be a lovely gift to give to a family member. If you want to make something special, you could tuck family recipes in here for them. Maybe a new daughter-in-law, someone where maybe your mom passed away and you have a sister and you can't share all of the recipes. You can't, if you end up dividing things up, you could make them a book such as this and tuck the recipes in here that they weren't able to get their hands on. So many different things you could do. But we're making a little ephemera book out of this. So yesterday, I think we left off where we had picked we cut the cardboard for the covers. We picked the front covers. That was the last thing that we did in the video. So I'm going to set that aside. We are not going to be making the cover just yet. That will be the last thing that we do. Yesterday, I did show you in part one how to fold the paper and how to tape it down. And I believe I left off making a statement that I was going to, when I came back to do part two, I will have stitched around here. Well, that didn't work out so well. Only for the fact, and I'll tell you why. And I'm glad that I did it, so I can tell you not to do it and why not to do it. When you use your cinch, you have to, obviously these holes, you get these perforated holes. And I measured it out, and I thought if I stitched in a nice fun zigzag stitch here, about a half an inch in, maybe a little more than half an inch. And then I took a single line, a single stitch, and went down here. It would just add a little pizzazz. But what that did was it really made these pockets very tight, where it really didn't have a lot of flexibility. So that was one thing I noticed. On the ones that I didn't stitch in quite enough, the stitching came just about here. So when I punched it, it made a mess. So I said, that is just not going to work out at all. So what I did is I made lemonade out of the lemons that were given to me by doing that. And like I said, if you make a mistake with paper, or you were working on do not throw your paper away. What I did was, when I realized that I had my front cover, so I thought I would use this for a front cover, I also needed an inside cover. So I went through my pad. I didn't see anything I liked. I did, but I didn't want to cut it up, my 12 by 12 paper. So what I did was I took all of my paper that I tore apart and cut apart. I had 3 of these that I had done. So I had just cut the stitching out, opened them up, and I had all of these scraps. So what I decided to do was make a collage sheet, which I love creating masterboard collage sheets. So I made a masterboard that I will cut, and I'm either going to use this now. This will be used as the front cover, and I will still continue to put some embellishments on there, or I will use it as the inside cover. But I took some other, my faux stamps that I cut from a vintage postage stamp book. Wanted a little bit more color, and I added these. These are Domino coupons, and this is a Raleigh cigarette coupon. So along with some Dennison these are the Dennison stickers that I used here. And I have some gold ones here. Again, these are little Dennison labels that I put on there. These you can find if you follow any of the girls that sell vintage on Instagram. They often sell little items like this. These were from my dad when we cleaned out my parents' house after they passed away. My dad had a home office, and these were in his filing cabinet. So, yeah, don't throw your paper away. I made a collage masterboard that I will cut up and use somewhere, front or the inside cover. So I'm going to set this aside because we will not be needing this for a while. So I got thinking about this project, and I wanted to jazz it up, do something a little bit different. Okay, so before I do that, let me just, because I'm not stitching on here, what you have to do, you do have to adhere the bottom of these. So when you put your item in this top pocket, it doesn't slide through the bottom. So these need to be taped. So I'm just going to show you real quick here. And I don't want to mix these up, only for the fact I have them in an order for a reason. So take your double-sided tape, and this is the tape that I use here. This Sukwang, I guess that's how you pronounce it. This is a little heavier duty than a regular tape roller. And you're just going to place it on the bottom. When you do put these down, when you do adhere this, work from the inside. So it's almost like getting the air bubbles out and you don't have a bulge. All right. So, and I do not, some people, the gal that I followed making this book, she also tapes it up here. I may put a little piece of tape, but for this one, I'm not going to, because these get punched anyways, and they're going to be flipped. But again, I could change my mind. I realized that I think the problem with my Cricut machine is the tape runs along here, and I think I've gotten so much tape in my, not my Cricut, my cinch, excuse me, my cinch machine. I think the tape has buggered it up inside, and it's very, very hard to push down. So this is why I may not be taping. Maybe after they are punched, I'll go back and put little dots of glue. I'll use my art glitter glue just to adhere it a little bit, but I'm not going to use tape anymore because I think it's ruined. I think it's ruined my cinch machine. So for now, I'm going to just leave these as is. And I think I did, yeah, this one has to be taped. So I thought I would just tape this here with you now. And I did a lot of prep work prior to this video. There was a lot of cutting and trimming, deciding what I was going to use, how I was going to use the pages. So I have everything pre-cut. I will tell you my dimensions. They may not necessarily be the dimensions you want to use, but I'll explain to you why I cut certain sizes the way I did. So in this paper pack, the Utopia, they have some fabulous images, and it's one reason why I bought them. And all of these images, I think you get 4 pages of these images, and they're all, well, you get more than that. They're all coordinated. So these are great to make tags for other journals, whatever you make, cards, whatever. So I'm a stickler. I see a lot of gals just trim. They'll make a tag and they trim with their scissors. I can't do that. I think I'm OCD about that. I don't have a steady hand. So I trim everything on my little Creative Memories cutter, which I can't live without. This should have been in one of my favorite tools video. But on this paper, now normally I would take this and put it in my large Carl cutter, but you can see that even though, I mean, it does play a trick on your eyes, you can cut right straight across here as long as you get them lined up. And the same coming down. I usually like to put it in my large cutter and do it, but this time I hand cut these out with my X-Acto knife, and then I ran them through my small cutter, my We Are Memory Keepers, just to even them up. So I thought it would be fun on this particular project. I have many, 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 many stacks of these index card dividers, and I've been using them for tags and other items. I showed in one of my other videos how I use these with a journaling card. So I thought it would be fun to put the dividers in and have them peek out a little bit on the ends. And I did it so they were a gradual, should I say gradual ascension, but they would be a gradual going up. And then you can just take them and flip them. So I decided what scenes were going to be best. So I thought we would get working on those today. And we would put those on each page. And I am going to dress them up a little bit. And I'm doing this off camera because this is worn, and when I play with this, it gets on my mat, and then I get little dark streaks, and I don't want to ruin the paper or ruin my paper when I set this down. So speaking of this mat, I do want to tell you, this is from Heidi Swap, and I purchased it online, and I really do like it. But if you have one, these do get dirty quite quickly because of the glue, because of the Tim Holtz ink and other things. I clean mine with this Clorox, this particular one, and I love it, and it's perfect for this project. It's Pacific Breeze and Coconut. It's bleach free, these disinfecting wipes. So if you can find these in your store, they do not smell medicinal. They do not smell like Clorox bleach. It's just a very, very pleasant, summery, vacation-y smell. So, and it's the Pacific Breeze and Coconut. So I just rub one of these all over my mat to clean it up. And then I take a wet washcloth, and then I just go all over it, and I let it dry naturally. And it really does come clean white quite nicely. So I wanted to share that with you. All right. And I will glue these down instead of doing a tape runner. And if you wanted to, if you were making this for someone, and you want it to be a little bit more special, you could stitch these here, do a cute little zigzag stitch, you know, in a couple corners or whatever you might like to do. You know, you could add more, you could add buttons, and but you have to remember too, when you're making these, that you're going to have bulk in it. When you start putting your ephemera in, and you don't want to build your embellishments up too much. Now, these are going to be different sizes because of the, if you have a horizontal versus a vertical tab. So I looked at this and I thought, you know, I want to just keep it simple. And again, you can add more embellishments. I thought about putting a small, you know, beach saying here. I have a wonderful stamp that I thought, you know, maybe I could put a little stamp here that you could jot, put a note in, put a date on. Jury's still out on that. Just for now, I'm going to get these done and think about if I want to do anything more on here. But we can always come back to that. So, in some of the scenes here, the beach scenes, I did have to cut down. So they do fit properly. And again, it depends on you. If you want, like I could have kept this beach scene. I could have had this up here. I could have had the whole scene. But I did not want anything sticking up over this pocket. So for now, I have everything just below my slant here. And these measure out, these should be 3 inches tall, which they are. So I've cut mine all 3 inches tall. All right. And again, it just depends on, as far as the width, oh, it's 3 1/4. You could go a little bit more, or again, if you have a nice border, you could do a long, so you could go as high as, I wouldn't take it any more than 2.5 inches. All right. And it's also a nice little reinforcement for the paper. But again, it just depends on what you're working with. And I've never made one with the file folder dividers. And I just, you ever get on, you know, you start working with something and then you get on a kick and you just want to keep working with it. And that's kind of like what I've done with these file folders, because I've made some journaling cards and I had to back my journaling cards. They had to be a little sturdier, so I started using these. So I'm on it's a new fad. I'm on a new kick. And I just love this paper because everything coordinates and you can just pick and choose the colors. I love these muted colors. I love them. And I mentioned I'm not a big stripe girl. As I sit here with one of my hiking shirts on that are horizontally striped. So this, you know, adds a nice little softness to the stripes. I guess I'm not opposed to stripes in some things, but I'm just not a stripy girl. My husband had a blue and white, navy blue and cream color pullover almost like a summer cardigan, and he would wear that out. And I said, if you're going to wear that, I really can't. I can't be with you. I can be with you, but I don't really know you. He looked like a, not that there's anything, I love, I'm not even going to, it just didn't look right on him. That's all I'm going to say. And then there's other things that were, he has Pendleton sweaters with, a stripe on them, and they're lovely, but, maybe it's just the certain style, but so today we have a beautiful, beautiful day. Yesterday I went on a nice walk on the side of our mountain. I did a road walk yesterday with my daughter-in-law, and we ended up walking 7 miles. And I'm trying to get back in shape because I really do want to hike this summer, spring. And where I live, we have 2 spring seasons. Actually 3. We have a new growth. I call it new growth, where everything buds out and our allergies attack us terribly because all the trees are budding, the birch trees. We all have allergies to birch trees. And we all suffer. I've been a little bit better. My allergies disappeared somewhat when I got pregnant many, many years ago. Well, hi, Belle. Hi, honey. All right. Come on, girls. Out. Go see Daddy. Go see Daddy. Go on. Sorry about that. My 2 doodles just decided to come in and make themselves known. And they would have just sat here and stared at me. But we have our new growth allergy season. Then we have mud season. And that's when there's a lot of trails that they actually close, because if you get a lot of traffic, you get a lot of hikers, they really bugger up the trail. It's very, very, very muddy. I've actually hiked where I've been walking along and my entire boot is caked with mud. I step into a mud hole. And that makes things even harder, because then when the mud dries or it's wet, it just feels like you have Frankenstein feet as you're hiking. But at any rate, so we have mud season, and then we have black fly season. And the black fly season is horrendous. So there's a rule about hiking, is that you do not hike from the day after Mother's Day to Father's Day. If you go early in the morning, it's not bad, but that's a general rule. You just don't hike from Mother's Day to Father's Day. So that's May whatever day until June 15th, 16th. Then you're free to go back onto the mountains and enjoy all of the magnificent beauty that surrounds us. Okay, so these are done, and I think I'm going to adhere them. I can't see myself putting anything underneath them as far as an embellishment coming out. The only thing maybe I will do is I may have some tropical flowers, and I can take a look later. So I think what I'll do is I will if I add a tropical flower, I may only, I'm not going to glue these down yet because I want to see what I have, because I could have a little floral piece coming up here and it would have to tuck behind this and one over here. So I'm going to set these aside for a minute. I'm going to put these right inside because I don't want to, I don't want to mix them up because they're all in a gradual order. All right, so that's the start of the front. Let me just get these again in order. All right, so looking at this, and as I flip it, you're going to have your tag, a tag here. This side, I haven't decided what I'm going to do here yet. I did not want to put another image here, but what I would like to do is I'd like to make these little pocket tags, or pocket pieces, a little pocket journal, pocket note card, whatever you want to call it. I'd like to put these in here along when you tuck some ephemera in, or if you start tucking ephemera down inside here, instead of pulling everything out to see what you have, this would be a nice little way to open up, and you could make notes as to what you keep. Say, if you have postage stamps in here, this page is only for postage stamps. Say your green postage stamps. This one might be for red postage stamps and tickets and things like that. You could pull this out, look to see what you have, say, okay, it's not in this one, you know, and move on, go to the next one. And that would also help, because this cardstock here, this is more paper. It's not a cardstock. I usually make these out of cardstock, a little heavier. That's what these are. It's just a little bit heavier cardstock. So I thought that would be a nice idea to tuck in there. And I did create some more little items to attach to the front. So these here, I created these from just a 11 by 8.5 piece of paper. And you're going to want to cut these. These actually are 6 inches wide, and then I score it at 3 inches, and they're 7 inches tall. All right, so it's 6 inches by 7 tall, and then I score at the 3-inch mark. And I'm just going to dress this up a little bit. So I think I'm going to head back out and do another big walk today. I don't know if my daughter-in-law will want to go with me. She said her shins were bothering her a little bit last night, but I have to tell her that when she walks up the steep mountainside or roadside, whatever still a side of a mountain we live on, you really have to walk up those steep inclines on your tippy toes. Because if you don't, you can get shin splints. So, and they aren't fun. When you think about it, when I hike a big mountain, any mountain, you're hiking over rocks, stepping up over. And when you step up onto a large rock, you're usually on the ball of your foot to help you launch up over it. So, and I think you have to do the same thing when you're on a steep incline on your road. All right, well, I guess I'm not done here. So the other, this is where I wanted to put the cute little beachy sayings. So I'll show you what I ran off and whose sayings I use. These are a digital download from Mrs. Coggs Crafts, and she has a whole beach theme. And you can see where I cut a couple out here to get ready for today's video. But she has some very nice beach scenes, and they're fun. So these came from Mrs. Coggs Crafts, and you can get these at her Etsy shop. So I just thought these would be a lot of fun to use on the front covers here. And I probably should have done this as well off camera because this is boring. So because these are 7 inches tall, I did want to do something down here. I didn't want to have to do a lot. I'm going to let you use your imagination as to how you want to create yours. And this is just a very simple, you know, little journaling fold-it card. So yesterday when I punched out my pages, I had made because this is where you're going to have your tuck spots, all right down in here. I told you do not throw your little half circles away that you punch. And I'm going to take a few today, and I think I will use this one here. And I'm going to use them on the bottom of the page here to dress them up. I do like using these. I think they're just really cute. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to get Mr. Giraffe here to hold my paper down. And this is a project that you could make in a couple days. I mean, you could actually, from start to finish, you could make it in a day. You know, again, the planning is the hardest part, picking the papers, deciding on the style. And I'm going to bring this down just a little tiny bit because maybe I might want to put a cute little tag on top or a ribbon, and that gives me just a little bit of space there, but I may not do that either. Now the other thing maybe I might do to dress this up a little bit is I have my scraps over here, my rip and torn scraps. And I could collage this just a tad bit more, maybe with a little bit thinner. I don't want to cover up that seagull. I don't mind covering this this side up here, but it would give it a little bit of give it a little pizzazz. And you can see where I punched yesterday and it just didn't. Okay, so we're going to cut this down to 3. We'll just add a little more pizzazz to this one. And we're going to take this right down. All right. And we'll see what this looks like. That's kind of cute. I'm just going to cut a little bit of that edge off. And I'm not going to ink this little piece here. All right, we're going to add that there. And I may even add a little bit. All right, where'd my... I know it's here. What's on the back side of this? The stars. All right, come on. I was just watching a video this morning, and there it is. They were looking for their pencil. They couldn't find their pencil. I think that was Tanya from Tatty Treasure. She couldn't find her pencil. Then I was watching another video. She couldn't find her little piece of paper she was working with. So the struggle is real for some of us gals here crafting. And I think I'm going to use this little beach bum. So I think also I'm going to add a little bit here and a little bit here of paper, just to, again, dress it up a little bit. Maybe I could make it more, a little more collage-y. And that's what's fun about really not having a set, you know, not following another, you know, someone else's video, or it just gives you, the freedom to, you know, do what you want. You know, everybody has their own style. Yeah, I think that'll be, fun, and it just adds a little oomph. I don't know if I want, let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm just going to use the one. And I am going to just dress this a little bit. All right, glue. So this morning, my husband and son arrived home yesterday from Cleveland after their medical appointments, and everything is good. But at any rate, my son said to me this morning while he was having breakfast, he says, "Mom, would you ask Dad if he grabbed my hair paste?" My son wears his hair very short, almost like a marine cut. And he uses a paste to lift the front of his hair up a little bit. And I'm like, okay. I says, but I think if your father had packed your paste, he would have given it to you, because, you know, he unpacked last night. My son came home and just collapsed and went to his computer. We all watched a movie last night. My son and daughter-in-law came over and we watched a movie. So my son hasn't unpacked yet. So he goes, "Mom, I'm going to take a shower." He says, "But ask Dad if he has my hair paste or hair." I think it's more of a paste. His sister-in-law bought it for him at Christmas. And I said, "Nope, your father doesn't have it." And I said, "You did not pack it?" He says, "No." I says, "Patrick, you took 4 items with you. There should have been 4 items brought back." He says, "Mom, I didn't see it in the bathroom. I thought Dad had grabbed it." And I says, "Well, no, he doesn't have it." if I can get this little piece up here. So he's like, man, oh man. I said, yeah, that was expensive too, Patrick. A little case, a little jar of about that tall and about that big around was $40. And I said, well, it looks like you're going to have to, on these corners, I used my We Are Memory Keepers corner punch, and I used the 1/4 inch round here, just so you know. So I told him, I said, well, you're going to have to replace it. You're going to have to buy a new one. He's like, gosh darn it, Mom. I says, no, you know what? I said, I'm going to call the Cleveland, the Continental Suites. You just left yesterday. You checked out yesterday morning. I said, I will bet you anything that gel is still in that bathroom or your paste. So I called. They connected me to housekeeping and left my number. I says, call my husband back. He's the one that was there. He and my son. Well, sure as you know what. Housekeeping called back and, oh yes, we have it right here. We have it. It was still up there. So they brought it down to the front desk and they will be shipping that back to us. So if you ever lose something in a hotel, you forget something, don't be afraid to call. I don't think they're supposed to get rid of anything for a little bit in case the hotel guest calls back. Okay, cool. So here is our first little card, and I'm not too concerned about having the inside. It just looks a little more distressed. These marks, things like that, I don't worry about it. So we will just tuck this in one of our pages here. Let's see where we're gonna. Let's put her right over here. All right. So she will be tucked in there. I've got one more to make with you. And we have our cute little Hawaiian girl here. And I chose for her, I'm going to use the red polka dot. Because who does not want a little polka dot bikini? If you're the right age to wear a little polka dot bikini. Not me, not anymore. And let's see, will I do the same for her? I don't think I will, because I like her just as she is. And I chose between the devil and the deep blue sea. I like that saying. I just think it's a really fun saying. And if you don't know what it means that you are in a difficult situation where you have to choose between two equally unpleasant courses of action. So you can kind of maybe read between the lines with her on her surfboard. And I want to do something here because I don't like this white space here. So let me see if I have what I have. I've got my flowers here that I've been working with on some of my tags. Let me see if I can find a little something that might go and be kind of fun to fill in. I'd have to cut that down. That would go there. My dogs are so bored. I can hear them out in the hall. They're trying to get in to see me. I got to get them out today. I'd love to take them for a walk. but I can't because there's too much road salt and it would just burn. It would burn their pads. So I can't do that. I'm going with the yellow maybe to pick up the yellow in her suit. Yeah, I think that would be fun. And I'm just going to cut this bottom part here. Oh, where's my little scissors? Yeah, I'd love to take. So what I have to do with the girls is I have to put them on a leash and just walk them around our driveway. Which really isn't all that much fun for them, but, and I have to be careful too because my oldest doodle is a turkey poop eater, and the turkeys are back. They actually never left. They've been here all winter. And Bella has discovered their droppings already. And if I don't keep her on a leash, she goes right over and starts. She thinks it's a buffet, and I can't stand it. And it's not good for her. It would make her very sick. All right, I'm just trying to figure out here the best course of action for this. All right, I think we're going to go with this. All right, and then I'll just trim it off. So let's get her down first. And I guess I'll move her up. I'm going to move her up a little bit. So I have a little bit more room to play with this flower. All right. All right, let's get this on here. And it's just so nice to be working with these beautiful bright colors. I'm so tired of this has been a very long winter. And I don't think it has anything to do with COVID, or we've just had a lot of snow and rain. And it just has not been a very good, it hasn't been a very good winter to get out and be active. Okay, so let's get these down. And then I think after I get these down, I'm going to call it a day. And I'll think a little bit more about those front, the front pockets, and if we should add anything else to them. And this I will trim a little bit because this is a little bit more with an X-Acto knife, because this is going to drive me, that's going to drive me nuts. Okay. I'll bring that down just a little bit. All right, and let me get my little pad here, and I'm just going to cut this ever so gently because I don't want to go through. I don't want to go through the paper if I can help it. This is the problem with being a perfectionist. Having these little things just kind of get under my skin. It's a terrible, if I did it from this side, it would be much better. It's just a terrible thing to deal with. There we go. And I'll just add a little bit more to that side, and that's good. All right. All right, so there we have our second, let's get some of this stuff out of the way here. We have our second little journal card. And we can put her, let's see, we can stick her right in here for now. So there you have it. So we have our pockets all attached. We have, these we'll put on the next time. If I can find some flowers, I'll do a prep for that. We'll attach these here, and we could, we'll finish up the cards. I'll make some more of the cards to put in because I do want to have cards in each pocket. And then we'll go ahead and punch the sides, and then we can start on the front covers, and we can continue on, and we'll finish up the project. Probably in a couple more videos it will take. So thanks everybody for watching along today. It's Sunday here. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. If you have sunny weather, get outside. If you don't have sunny weather, still get outside, get that fresh air, breathe it in, and just have a very blessed day. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.